We have a ton to cover, so let's just dive right in. The Outer Worlds 2 release date. Kicking off the Xbox Games Showcase, The Outer Worlds 2 is confirmed to launch on October 29th for the Xbox Series X and S, PC via Steam, Xbox PC, and Battle.net, and PS5. It'll launch on day one for Game Pass. The story sees the player as an Earth Directorate agent, venturing to Arcadia to investigate some terrifying rifts that threaten the universe. It's easier said than done, as corporations like Auntie's Choice, which is invading the planet, are interfering, though it's implied that you can ally with them. The latest gameplay showcases new weapons that can annihilate enemies and plenty of slow motion. Interestingly, it seems that players can manipulate the rifts with a device for various purposes, including platforms to jump on. ASUS ROG Xbox Ally X, ROG Xbox Ally Handheld Gaming Systems unveiled. During the Xbox Games Showcase, Microsoft has finally unveiled its Project Keenan handheld gaming systems. Built in collaboration with ASUS, the system takes a few cues from Xbox design languages on top of hardware based on the ROG Ally series of handhelds. The handheld systems, titled the ROG Xbox Ally X and the ROG Xbox Ally. The ROG Xbox Ally X, seemingly available in black color, runs on an AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme chip, along with 24GB of LPDDR5X 8000 RAM. To store games, the Xbox Ally X will come with 1TB of storage. The lower-powered ROG Xbox Ally, seemingly available in white on the other hand, runs on an AMD Ryzen Z2A and 16GB of LPDDR5X 6400 memory. Its storage is handled by a 512GB drive. Both systems feature a 7-inch 1080p display with 120Hz refresh rate, as well as FreeSync premium capabilities. Connectivity is quite fleshed out. The ROG Xbox Ally X features a USB 4 Type-C connector with DisplayPort capabilities, as well as Thunderbolt 4 compatibility. It also has a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port with DisplayPort 2.1 as well as power delivery. The ROG Xbox Ally, on the other hand, features two USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C ports with DisplayPort 2.1. Both the ASUS ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X run on Windows, with Microsoft boasting that the handheld system benefits from the freedom offered by the operating system when it comes to running games from across Steam, Epic Games Store, and the Microsoft Store. Both consoles also come with some bonuses, including a dedicated Xbox guide button as well as enhanced triggers. Both of the systems are slated for release later this year. Ninja Gaiden 4 releases October 21st. Team Ninja and Platinum Games revealed a new trailer for Ninja Gaiden 4 during the Xbox Games Showcase, which includes tons of new gameplay. However, they also announced a release date of October 21st. As for the trailer, it's full of sleek action, much of it brought about by protagonist Yakumo's new weapons. He can wield a rocket-propelled giant hammer and a large drill staff, embedding it into enemies and causing grievous injury. A boss with a chimera-like enemy is also showcased, who attacks with a single wing and moves fast. Ryu Hayabusa also gets some time to shine, displaying his prowess with the signature dragon katana and unleashing the Izuna drop. He can also slice enemies apart with blinding flash strikes in midair while unleashing magic. How much he'll be playable? Well, that remains to be seen, but the action looks sleek thus far. Ninja Gaiden 4 will launch for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. Clockwork Revolution gameplay trailer. inXile Entertainment's Clockwork Revolution has looked promising in all that we've seen of it so far. And at the recent Xbox Games Showcase, we got another extended look at it, courtesy of a new packed gameplay trailer. The trailer continued to show off the game's clockpunk setting and its aesthetically striking environments and character designs, while also showing plenty of glimpses of what its story, its varied and eccentric cast of characters, and the setting will have in store. Where the actual gameplay is concerned, we get to see the character customization, dialogue choices, choice and consequence mechanics, combat, weapon customization, and more. There's quite a lot going on, which means there's plenty to unpack. A release date has still not been announced for this game. Clockwork Revolution is in development for Xbox Series X and S and PC. Super Meat Boy 3D announced. Classic platformer Super Meat Boy is making the jump to the third dimension in a new game appropriately titled Super Meat Boy 3D. The game will once again put players in the shoes of Meat Boy as he must take on challenging platforming levels with plenty of deaths happening along the way. The trailer showcases the new 3D gameplay that has seemingly maintained quite a bit of its identity from its original 2D roots. The levels showcased in the trailer also bear quite a resemblance to the ones that we've seen in the original Super Meat Boy. Much like the original, Super Meat Boy 3D also seemingly has an emphasis of the player constantly dying and retrying the level at the press of a button, allowing the player to get right back into the thick of it as soon as possible. Super Meat Boy 3D will be coming to PC, Xbox Series X and S, and will also be available to play through cloud streaming on Xbox Cloud when it comes out in early 2026. Beast of Reincarnation. Game Freak, a studio known for its work on the Pokemon franchise, has unveiled a new title during Xbox Game Showcase 2025. Dubbed Beast of Reincarnation, the game was announced with a trailer. Beast of Reincarnation's trailer gives us a look at the general fantasy vibes that the game is seemingly going for. Players take on the role of a young girl with a wolf companion. Throughout the trailer, the duo are exploring various locales, from small Japanese villages with rice paddies to lush forests, and taking on different challenges. The revival of nature seems to be a big part of the themes in Beast of Reincarnation, with the protagonist seemingly having the ability to create new life to help her explore the world around her. Beast of Reincarnation comes out in 2026. Kronos The New Dawn new gameplay trailer. Bloober Team definitely elevated itself as a developer of horror games in the eyes of the games industry at large with last year's seminal Silent Hill 2 remake. And this year, the studio is set to follow up on it with what's looking like another promising experience in Kronos The New Dawn. At the recent Xbox Games Showcase, we got another look at the sci-fi survival horror title. Similar to Silent Hill 2, Kronos is promising to be much more full-featured and fully fledged of a horror experience than past Bloober games, but with an even greater emphasis on combat, and a dual timeline mechanic that looks particularly intriguing. The trailer showcases some of that combat, some of the terrifying and grisly enemies that we'll be facing off against, the morbid environments we'll explore, and so much more. A release window has been narrowed down for the game, though a specific launch date has yet to be announced. Kronos The New Dawn launches for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC this fall. Mudang Two Hearts new trailer. Formerly known as Project TH, Ever Studios' Mudang Two Hearts premiered a new trailer at the Xbox Games Showcase highlighting more of the world and the strife inherent. Players control Ji Jiongtae, a special forces operative who must investigate the truth. He eventually runs into Gavi, also playable, with his mission quickly becoming one of protecting her. Of course, there are also all of those afflicted with rage who turn into mindless threats, and they must be dealt with. Mudang Two Hearts has impressed so far with its open-ended levels, strong visual design, and seamless transitions between CQC, third-person shooting, and stealth. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 new demo trailer. More Tony Hawk is never something you can or should say no to, and thankfully, against all odds, we're continuing to get more Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is due out not long from now, and ahead of its release, we got another look at the game at the recent Xbox Games Showcase. Introduced by Tony Hawk himself, the trailer showcases various glimpses of the upcoming, highly anticipated remake. Glimpses are showcased of its many skate parks, the many tricks that you'll be able to pull off, and so much more. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 launches for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch, and PC. It'll also be available day and date via Game Pass. Gears of War Reloaded gameplay trailer. The Coalition's Gears of War Reloaded was up next at the Xbox Games Showcase, with a new trailer highlighting the remastered visuals and iconic moments from the campaign, including the Brumac battle. Launching for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC on August 26th, the remaster offers 4K assets, improved textures, and improvements to shadows and reflections. It also supports 60 FPS during the campaign and 120 FPS in multiplayer, with variable refresh rate. You can also expect all of this content from the Ultimate Edition, though current owners can avail of the remaster for free. Gears of War Reloaded costs $39.99 and includes cross-platform co-op multiplayer and cross-save progression. It'll also be available on day one for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Keeper, from the studio behind Psychonauts 2. Developer Double Fine, the studio behind the Psychonauts games, has unveiled its next title. Titled Keeper, the game was announced during Xbox Game Showcase 2025. In Keeper, a story is going to be told without the use of any words whatsoever. One of the last signs of humanity's existence, a decrepit lighthouse, unexpectedly starts moving. After ultimately collapsing, its rubble reassembles itself and the lighthouse grows a set of legs. Players take on the role of this lighthouse and start things off with only a single objective: get to the center of the island. The lighthouse will also be accompanied by a bird that can interact with ancient mechanisms. Keeper is ultimately a game about an unlikely friendship, and the duo of protagonists set off to explore the world and find new meanings in their lives. Keeper is coming to PC and Xbox Series X and S on October 17th. Animo. Paw Print Studio has unveiled its new game. Titled Animo, the game was announced with a trailer during Xbox Game Showcase 2025. The trailer gave us a look at some gameplay for Animo, which largely seems to revolve around befriending various creatures and exploring the world. Animo puts players in the shoes of a Pathfinder. Described as an open-world action RPG, the game will throw players in the world of Ideal, an expansive and interactive world. Throughout their time in Ideal, Pathfinders can befriend, collect, and evolve magical creatures, the eponymous Animo. The game will include PvE and PvP combat, as well as a host of other content, including dungeons to explore, real-time combat, as well as ancient puzzles that can be solved for more rewards. The gameplay from the trailer was recorded from the PC version of the game, and Animo is coming to PC and Xbox Series X and S in 2026. Planet of Lana 2: Children of the Leaf announced. Wishfully acclaimed side-scrolling cinematic platformer Planet of Lana is getting a sequel in 2026. Launching for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC, Planet of Lana 2: Children of the Leaf follows Lana and Mui once more. Though the planet has been saved, plenty of dark secrets lurk beneath the surface. The sequel expands on the first game's puzzle-solving mechanics with new robots, which introduce additional solutions. Stealth is as important as ever, with the developer promising, quote, refined mechanics and enhanced precision with Mui. Of course, there are still plenty of action sequences, though Lana is far more agile. Alongside wall jumps and running slides, she moves faster than before, which will come in handy during the new underwater sections. Planet of Lana 2: Children of the Leaf is also coming to Game Pass on day one. Invincible Versus. Skybound Entertainment has announced Invincible Versus, a 3v3 tag team fighting game set in the ultra-violent world of Invincible. The game is being developed by Skybound's new internal studio and is slated for release in 2026 on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Unlike most superhero games that shy away from graphic violence, Invincible Versus leans in all the way. The game features blood-soaked arenas, brutal finishing moves, and visibly broken characters. Confirmed fighters include Invincible, Bulletproof, with more to be revealed. Each fight will showcase the kind of chaos and carnage players will instantly recognize. The Blood of Dawnwalker new trailer. Rebel Wolves finally debuted some gameplay for The Blood of the Dawnwalker, its dark fantasy open-world action RPG for the Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. It also confirmed that it would launch in 2026. As previously revealed, the story takes place in 14th century Europe, with a fictional Carpathian Mountains town, Vale Sangora, being seized by vampires. They enslaved the population and used them as blood banks to continue living. But they didn't factor in Cohen. A wild card of sorts, he's a Dawnwalker, a half-vampire that can traverse during the day and the night. Your skills will vary depending on the time of day and also affect the story. As for the gameplay, combat seems fairly Witcher 3-esque, with sword fighting, though you can also feed on enemies. Exploration is more intriguing, as Cohen can bound across rooftops and even walk on walls. The enemies encompass the usual medieval bloodsuckers, but there are also others, like ones with mechanical wings that look really interesting.
And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.